Hello. Glad to see you back here watching another episode. Thank you for watching. Today I'm going to be talking about smart networking made simple. Now I'm going to show you a few key components that you need to run to make everything run smoothly. Now I have Netgear smart switches, and every switch in the house has a brain. Basically, that's what smart means. And you need a router. Now, a router is the main boss of your network. And for a smart network, you need something a little more advanced than just your basic home router. It's called VLANs. Means Virtual Local Area Network. Your router needs to support VLANs, Virtual Local Area Networks, to be able to function properly. Now I am going to show you right now my equipment in the control room for you to get started. So this is my Netgear 8-port router, and like I said, it's a VLAN router, which means Virtual Local Area Network. Up on top here I have a 48-port switch from Netgear and a 24-port switch. And these are the units that connect to the house. Here is an 8-port switch that I have connected down here to control some of the stuff. Now, there's a lot more stuff that's in this control room that is not Netgear, but I need to show you just to kind of give you a basic setup of what I've got. And now a little bit of this stuff is, now what I'm showing you right now is basic, but the things that I'm going to show you with my computers is a bit more advanced, and you don't really need to know how to set that up, but you just need to know that it's out there. These look like your average PCs, but they're not. One's they're both free routers, and I will not get into this since this is a Netgear switch setup, but these are good routers. And the one on the left is a IP-COP firewall, which is basically a filter. On the right is a Zero Shell VLAN router, and these are both free operating systems off the internet. Now, to set up Zero Shell is basically how you would set up the Netgear router, which is what I get to further into this video. So basically you would just transfer what you've got from your Netgear and put it onto Zero Shell. And I will not go into this video why I have so many routers, but sometime down the future when I'm not going to be doing a review for Amazon, that I will tell you why I have it set up this way. I also have another Zero Shell laptop router, which is, like I said, I'm not going to get it into this video with it, but basically I'll give you a rundown on between PC towers and laptops. This laptop, and any laptop, is not nearly powerful enough to do a good routing job compared to a tower, which if you just need medium duty work, a laptop works good for you. And that's what I have here, is for certain setups that we have in the house here. So basically you can have a switch in any part of the room that you want connected to your master switch. And this is my NAS setup. NAS means Network Attached Storage. So now everything here is run by these hard drives that are USB connected. Have you ever wondered what smart switches were supposed to do? Well, this review is going to be on Amazon, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you liked the video and you find it helpful, please like it on Amazon and YouTube. Please subscribe on YouTube. There's a lot more resources on YouTube than you'll ever find on Amazon. So with these smart switches, you can do a whole bunch of things that you cannot do with a dumb switch. So let me get to those switches right now. What's the purpose, you ask, of these, and what's the pros and cons about these switches and routers? I really don't think there's any negatives about these things. They either work or they don't. So, one of the things that I was curious about is that the 24 port is fanless. And I thought, well, what good can that be, and how quickly is that gonna, die on me? And actually, it has been lasting me for a good long time now. And what comes with these switches is I have right now both switches are connected with fiber optics. That's an SFP port. Please do not ask me what SFP stands for. Now, I'm going to get to the modules and different things like that that you need to do on other reviews on Amazon. So you'll have to look at those SFP ports or the adapters on Amazon to find out what I'm talking about. So anyways, what you can do with these switches is basically you can have one cable, and you can have about, say, like 50 networks in one cable. Now with these smart switches, there's a feature in this that's called VLANs, which means Virtual Local Area Network. It's basically, as easily as I can describe it, it's a replica of your original one, but it has a different name, and I will get to explain you more on my computer screen of how to set this up, and this will just be quick. I'm not going to go into an awful lot of detail, but these are better than a dumb switch. Why? Because you can prioritize traffic and a whole lot of other things and separate networks. And I'll get to that a little bit further in this video. So basically, you have all the advantages over a dumb switch. I don't know why they call them dumb and smart, but that's what they call them. And since they are calling them smart switches, that's what I'll call these. Originally they were called managed switches, and basically that's what the technical term is, but for advertising purposes they call it smart. And I've actually had, a lot of good use out of these switches. And since I have hooked up the fiber optic ports, it has greatly increased my speed. Now, you're going to get gigabit speed on your fiber optic ports and your Ethernet ports. But the thing is that I have found with fiber is that it's more reliable than the network jacks. Now, I'm not saying that the network jacks are not reliable, but when you daisy chain these two switches together and you got a lot of information going through them, you got a lot of problems going to occur over a long period of time. Like things get out of whack and shut down on you, and it's not because of the switches, it's because of the cabling. So I highly recommend these fiber optic cables. And let me show you those cables right now. So right here is the fiber optic cables, this one and this one. Same way here on this switch down here. There's the fiber optics, and this is a I can't remember what brand this one is, but this one's not even adapter. This one is built right into the cable, and this one has I don't know if you can see it too good. This one has SFP slot adapter I had to buy. One thing about SFP, that's the fiber optic port. When you're looking for your particular unit, whether it's a router or it's a switch, you need to make sure that if you got a network switch, that you have a cable that is compatible with Netgear. Same with Cisco or any other brand that is out there that has SFP, fiber optics. And there's a lot of advantages that you can use with routers and switches over just a basic, home network. Now this is mainly used for businesses and other companies, but when all reality comes right down to it, you can use this stuff in your house. Yes, it's more expensive, but it's sure a lot more reliable than a home router or switch. So let me get showing you how to set up your switches, and I'll try not to take too long because I just want to make this video as short as possible. And let's get to that right now. So here I am on my 8-port Netgear router. So this is the model number right here that I've got. So it's very easy to make a virtual local area network. So first off, you log in, go to network configuration, and then you click on the LAN setup. I'm not sure if you can see that too well. So I went over here from network configuration, then I clicked on LAN setup. So all I have to do is click add. So you can make like a profile name. I'm going to keep zooming up here for you. So let's make that test. And your ID, your virtual local area network ID, I'll make 30. Now, let's see here. So let me show you what I've done. I hope you can see that perfectly. So I made a test and VLAN ID is 30. Now on this particular router, I cannot tell you for Cisco since I don't own one. I'm going to click, I'm going to highlight as many ports as I need. So I'm just going to do the port 1, which is the default. And then the IP address. So I did an IP address of 192.168.88.1. And you come over here to your subnet mask, and you type in 255.255.255.0. So right there is your subnet mask. Don't ask me what that means, but that's what I have to do. So you scroll down, and if you want DNS or DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, which basically means that your computer asks for an IP address and your router gives it to you. So I'll type in the start address. Alright, so I have told the domain name, which is netgear.com, in the top field, and I did all of my start and end dynamic host configuration protocol. And I always start it one number after the router. It's so if you got .1 and I start at .2 and I do .254. So then if you can see this alright, I have made it 192.168.1 or .88.1, and the same way for the primary DNS server and for the secondary DNS server. And on the least time, I usually put 24 hours. My ports list on switch 1, and these are the list of my routers. And you can actually type in the name that you want to customize your port. So you just highlight like port 40, scroll up to the top, and then type your name in that box and hit apply, which is down here in the corner of the screen. Which I don't need to do that because I'm not using it. So anyways, up in the top here, there's System tab and then there's switching. And we're basically on the ports list right now. You need to select VLAN. So here I am on the switching and it's on VLAN now. And your defaults are 1, 2, and 3. So basically, to make a new VLAN, you put your number right here in the top box. I don't know if you can see it, but it says VLAN ID. So basically, I have made 30 and then test, and I'm going to click add down here at the right hand corner of the screen. So now you can see that it has successfully added the VLAN 30 to my switch. Now I go to the advanced settings on the page. Then I go to VLAN membership. So right here is your default VLAN. So what I want to do is scroll down to 30. So right there's 30 at the bottom of the list. So here you go. It's 30 and it says test. So now all I have to do is do my my ports. So right here is all the ports that I have on my 48 port switch. So now what I want to do is, and you need to find what port your router is on, and mine is on 46. So when you want to get your router to work properly with your VLAN, you need to tag it. And then for your PC, like I have PCs on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is what you want to do is use your untag on your PCs 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then over here on your router you want tagged. Now don't ask me why it has to be this way, but it has to be this way. And this is how the thing communicates, is untagged and tagged. So each time, well, let me hit apply. Now let's check the ports list again. And it's been all done. So there's your settings are set. And it's almost ready to run. Not quite. Alright. So what you want to do, and here I had to select port PVID configuration as highlighted. Don't ask me what that means, but here are your ports. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I don't want anything on I don't need to change port 1, 2, but like port 4 and 3, make that number 30. So let's see here. So I'll hit apply. So I hit apply down here in the right hand screen here. So now I have all of my the ports that I wanted to select is on VLAN 30. So now your ports will be communicating properly with your PCs or devices. Now on each switch that you want to access your VLAN, you need to set up each switch with a tag, and then anything that's the endpoint where you're going to run your device, like a printer or a KVM extender, you want to have that selected as untagged. Now if you don't have anything in it at all, it just removes it from the VLAN. So when it is blank, there's nothing there. It will not communicate with it at all. It either has to be tagged or untagged. And you must have every switch that's daisy chained with another switch tagged. So like this switch and another switch down the line. So I'm not going to set it up or anything at all, but I have this other switch over here that I can click on. So right there's my other switch. And now I can just make a VLAN like I did with the other switch, and I'm all set, and you're ready to go. So this is as easy as it gets to set up a smart network in your business or home. One thing I want to show you is on this smart switch, and any smart switch, whether you've got a 48 port, 24 port, or 16 port, or even 8 port switch, there's always an inactive timeout. Now to me, I found that the default settings were slightly annoying. So one of the things that I did is I went to security and changed the timeout time on it. So let me show you how to do that. I am in the security tab right now, and the first thing that comes up is management security, and you can change your password when you want. So let's go over and click access. Basically, I've left everything else alone, and I changed the default HTTP session soft timeout minutes. I don't remember which one the last one was at. It might have been a minute, but I changed it up to 60 minutes. So that gives me plenty enough time to configure my switches and do everything I need to do and be able to get out without having to keep relogging in every single minute that the thing times out. So that's how you'd fix that. My one recommendation, if you are going to start anything with a smart network, and is not to go cheap. Now the one mistake I did years ago, now I don't care what brand you buy, but stick with one of them, because each brand of networking equipment is going to be different than the other brand of networking equipment. For example, I bought, well, I don't remember what the brand switch was that I bought, but it was not Netgear, and I could not set it up with my Netgear switches. It was horrible. Well, let's just say that it was a TP-Link smart switch, and it worked with the Netgear, but it would not. I couldn't figure out how to make it talk with each other. Now, I'm not sure how all these things work, but I'm almost thinking that you need to stick with one brand or the other. You cannot mix smart switch brands with another smart switch brand, because there's just, I don't see how you can do it. So, like, what happened to me was for the fact that I bought a Netgear 48 port switch. Then I was like, well, right now I don't have enough money to get the other Netgear switch I wanted, so I bought one that was probably about $130 when the Netgear was $230. So I was like looking at, quite a bit of money. So I decided to go cheap, but that was a mistake, and that was hell. It was horrible. So if you're going to get into this stuff, don't go cheap. Either stick with a dumb switch for right now, or if you really need to upgrade, then get your money and just upgrade it. What I've done in the past is I've just done it slowly but surely, and I've upgraded it. And I've got a really nice network now due to the Netgear smart switches. So don't make my mistake that I did when I first started upgrading my network to a smart switch. So these switches are very well made, and I like them, and I recommend them to anybody that's looking at doing a high bandwidth network. And even if you're just a home user, if you're like, well, what am I going to do with a 48 port switch, or a 24 port switch, or a 16 port switch? You don't need to buy off the biggest one that they have. The 8 port switch is reasonable for you folks. It's $80 right now. Now, if you're seeing this like many years later, the price might change. Who knows? But and I didn't think I would ever use that full 48 port switch. I pretty much have it. I mean, I've got some empty ports now because I've moved things over to the 24 port switch, but I pretty much used up the switch. I got a few things left over, but you know, I just couldn't believe that I actually used a lot of that switch up. So don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. And it's like any other piece of equipment. You could buy a brand new one and say, well, this thing's a piece of junk. Well, I have bought a Netgear switch that didn't work, and I had to send it back and get another one, and it works. So don't let just one failure drive you away from buying Netgear units. So if you like this video, please subscribe on YouTube, like me on Amazon, look me up on Facebook, and I'll see you later.